Good afternoon, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing another video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know. And I want to talk about something that happened in the 1950s here in America and around the world, actually, in a manner of speaking, known as, I'm showing you where I am here. It's a kind of a neat spot. I've been here before in my videos. The Red Scare was perpetrated by the U.S. government and intelligence agencies, in particular, in anticipation of problems with Russia and other communist countries during the Cold War. A lot of people don't realize how old the Cold War is, or was, I should say, before the fall of the Soviet Union. It's debatable whether it ever really ended, and this isn't so much about the Cold War, but the witch hunt that ensued in this country in the 1950s, despite rhetoric to the contrary about freedom and liberty and justice and the American way being all these things, while at the same time our own people, our own citizens, and anybody who was suspected of being a card-carrying communist was investigated, apprehended, surveilled, and arrested under suspicion of collusion with the communist interests. Real story, true story, actually happened. You can look this up. So what I mean to talk about here specifically is the pattern of paranoia that surrounds this kind of investigation. The Red Scare is not a new precedent. It's the same logical prosecution structure that came out in Salem, Massachusetts during the Salem witch trials, and before that during the Spanish Inquisition, and many times throughout history, every time actually when a presumption of guilt is extended before a presumption of innocence. Now, granted, throughout history, it has been fairly easy to escape being apprehended by authorities. Often on, without modern technology, dissenters or criminals had a very plausible chance of escaping just about any situation by leaving town or going on the lam, as they say, going undercover and staying there until the coast was clear. This was a real possibility. Not so much anymore. I mean, much, much less now. It's still technically possible, but you only kind of hear about this stuff in the movies. Anyway, the point is that nowadays, witch hunts look different, and we have not gotten away from this idea, unfortunately. We are hip deep back in that whole situation where a rumor is all it takes to get somebody arrested, to get somebody investigated, to put the brakes on their life and their family, just because of the seriousness of the charges. And I cannot say this loudly or frequently enough that if you fail to presume somebody's innocence, and that is without reasonable cause or probable cause, beyond a reasonable doubt, and with substantial evidence that some improper thing has happened, you are categorically breaking the law yourself in this country by investigating, charging, pursuing, harassing, arrest. Just if you're acting on a suspicion in this country without substantial, and that is legitimate, licensed probable cause, as a person who is trained to understand and identify these things, then you are breaking the law. Okay, you cannot do a citizen's arrest for no reason. There used to be something called citizen's arrest, as an aside. It was expected that if law enforcement or police or sheriffs or whoever weren't available, and there was an obvious crime underway, a citizen could and should intervene and detain somebody with reasonable force until the said authorities arrive. This is a thing. It's actually in the books. Citizen's arrest has not happened that I'm aware of in quite some time. No, there's police everywhere, obviously, so it has become obsolete. The idea has become obsolete. However, the idea that people require some kind of justification to intrude in your life has has completely disappeared. The reason that we have these protections, I want to just talk about the protections for a second. The reason we have protections such as authorities requiring a warrant to get into your stuff or your premises, your home, your property, is because it has been abused in the past. It's to protect people who have presumably done nothing against rumors and accusations designed to frame them and create an atmosphere of paranoia, mistrust, and the impression of impropriety when there is none. It is entirely too easy to lie about stuff. Here's the problem. The problem is anybody can just whip up a story. And when you happen to be friends with the chief of police or the vice admiral of the Coast Guard or whoever your authority person is, it becomes a very easily abused aspect of our system to be able to just say, oh, I think I saw something, I almost saw something, or they almost did something. Okay, almost isn't doing it. Okay, something doesn't almost happen. It either happens or it doesn't. And as suspicious as you might be, as strange as a person or their behavior may seem, I strongly urge everyone to mind your business, because if you see something, you can say something, but that doesn't mean something's going to happen about it. Unless it's an actual thing that you witnessed as far as damage to property or a person, that is a trespass, and you know that they were not invited, they did not have permission to be where they were, or breaking the stuff that they did, or harming the person, because that would be a crime if they did. If you haven't actually witnessed this in person, firsthand, it's not your business. And this is to protect you. This is to protect you, because we have gotten so far off the rails with this thing. People are on a witch hunt everywhere you look. They're looking for pedophiles. They're looking for misogynists. They're looking for homophobes. They're looking for dissenters. They're looking for if they're a Republican, they're looking for the terrorists or the Democrats or whoever you want. We have labels every day. Every day we have a new label, and we're just running around looking for someone to stick it to. Start that witch hunt going. Fire up the mob and the torches, and we go on the warpath. Okay, we're right back at it. We are right back at it. And it ends the same way every time. Last thing I'll say about this. The Red Scare happened in this country. Hunting for card-carrying communists, whether it's a communist or a witch or a heretic. Back in the Spanish Inquisition, they were looking for heretics. We all get riled up about these labels, and we form into mobs, and it has been in this country, last thing I'll say again, a hugely important aspect of our criminal justice system, that people are innocent until proven guilty. And if you don't agree with that, then don't complain when you find yourself burned at the stake. That's the only place it goes. You will be expected to prove your innocence, and in the absence of evidence, you will be burned at the stake. Okay? They pay people for information. They pay people for intelligence, leading to the arrest or capture of suspected people who have never even done anything. And every person they get reinforces the process. They say, hey, look, we may or may not be on target, but we arrested 50 people last month. And it was up 200% from the previous month. What more do you need to know? Do you see where this goes? Do you see what happens? We are almost back at it. Please. Use your reason, use your logic, mind your business. I cannot say it enough. Mind your business. Reach out with questions or comments to whiteheartrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.